Crash investigation breakthrough. Parents charged over the death of their 3-year-old son on the Gold Coast.
The big venue build finally begins for the 2032 Olympics.
The southeast prepares for a weekend soaking as outback flooding leaves supermarket shelves bare.
A road rage argument ends in the death of an Australian father in Thailand.
The high-tech hip implants keeping patients on their feet for longer.
Some good news for Magda Zubanski amid her cancer battle.
Plus fans in a frenzy as the NRL's Footy Fest ramps up in Las Vegas.
This is 9 News Queensland with Melissa Downs and Joel Dry.
Good evening. The parents of a little boy killed following a car crash on the Gold Coast late last year have been charged with manslaughter.
An extensive forensic investigation over a number of months led to the fresh charges and the arrest of the 3-year-old's mother.
A little boy whose life was cut incredibly short. This is Caden Case. The 3-year-old suffered critical head injuries in a crash on the Gold Coast in October when this white Mazda veered off the road into bushland at Stapleton. A Good Samaritan rushed him and his mother to Beenleigh Police Station, where he died in the foyer.
4 people were in the vehicle at the time. A then 22-year-old woman, a 24-year-old man, a 3-year-old boy and a 1-year-old boy.
4 months on, a breakthrough in the complicated case. Caden's parents now charged with manslaughter. His father, 24-year-old Samuel Ian Patterson, who's been in custody since shortly after the crash, and his 23-year-old mother, Anisha Case, arrested at Loganlea yesterday.
Now under arrest for the offence of manslaughter.
The investigation was extremely complex. Extensive forensic and mechanical investigations, analysis of physical evidence, extensive analysis of CCTV and digital and additional intelligence inquiries.
With police at the time uncertain as to who was behind the wheel.
Police were able to determine the then 22-year-old woman was driving the vehicle at the time of the crash.
She's accused of driving without ever holding a licence. Fronting court today, the pair is also facing drug trafficking offences, alleged to have been operating out of a tourist park between February and October last year. The young mother's matter will return to court on Monday, where it's likely she'll make an application for bail. Her co-accused, Mr Patterson, has been remanded in custody until his next appearance on March 30. As to what led to the horror crash, investigators remain tight-lipped.
All the circumstances and underlying factors involved in the crash are part of the court proceedings, and I won't be able to comment further.
McKenna Bailey, 9 News.
Queensland's big Olympics build has begun, with works commencing at the site of the Logan Indoor Sports Centre.
But before us, it will be LA's turn, and tonight we have your first look inside the venue, where Brisbane will be sold to the world.
At California's Muscle Beach, Australia is muscling in on LA's turf. The City of Angels will host the 2028 Olympic Games, and this is where we'll be spreading the word about 2032. Australia House, a home away from home for our athletes and their families.
We need to honour our athletes by having a place that we can make them feel warm and embrace them.
And a place where the rest of the world can learn about all things Queensland.
We're going to be making sure that people know about the Great Barrier Reef and the beaches of the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast.
It's allowing not just Australian fans and Australian athletes to engage here, but also the community to hopefully come over the other side of the pond and see what we've got to offer in Brisbane.
Build it and they will come is the old saying, and in Logan, that building work has now begun. The city's old PCYC demolished to make way for the new Logan Indoor Sports Centre.
This will genuinely be a game changer for sport and for our local community more broadly here.
There will be young people flocking to this facility. They will absolutely overuse it. They will use it for decades to come.
The complete design of the sports centre is yet to be revealed, with a contractor not yet announced, but we do know that this will be a 9-court venue with the capacity for 7,000 spectators. Which sports will be held here remains undecided. The total cost of the project undisclosed.
We are deliberately not disclosing at the moment the individual cost because we want competition in the construction industry.
Jessica Millward, 9 News.
Shelves have been stripped bare at Mount Isa Coles as communities in Queensland's northwest continue to grapple with the impacts of heavy rainfall. Coles says flooded roads have temporarily impacted delivery and supply, but fresh food and essentials will soon be restocked.
Straight to weather expert Luke Bradnam now. Luke, residents in the north of the state have had some reprieve overnight. Will the wet weather be returning?
Joel, unfortunately, yes, we already are seeing that wet weather return this evening. A severe thunderstorm warning in place for areas just southwest of Mount Isa, and certainly those unstable conditions will continue for the next few days and certainly over the weekend. Here in the southeast, if you look at today's radar, it's the strong southeasterly winds that have been pushing showers in, mostly along the coastal fringe, although we're starting to see them creep through the western suburbs as well. The heaviest for us today has certainly been around the Sunshine Coast. Some areas since 9 a.m. seeing over 30 millimetres. South of the border, some areas around Lismore seeing over 100 millimetres. And those showers, guys, will continue over the weekend. I'll let you know exactly what you can expect at your place. The full forecast coming up shortly.
See you then. Thanks, Luke. A man has died after the crane he was operating collided with a power pole in Tingalpa this morning. Police say the machine tipped and became entangled in lines on Hemet-Tingalpa Road around 8:30, trapping the 58-year-old man. Energex immediately cut power to hundreds of surrounding homes. Police and Workplace Health and Safety are investigating.
A terrifying experience for a young girl yesterday afternoon when a would-be thief tried to steal a car while she was in it. It happened after school pickup in Wilston when the 9-year-old girl's father briefly stopped at his in-laws. The opportunistic stranger jumped into the front seat. The child called out for help. Thankfully, a hero tradie heard and came running.
Heard a young girl call out, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. She said that twice. And then I saw someone in a black hoodie running away. So I just dropped the shovel and raced down there to try and help however we could.
The offender escaped, sending nearby schools into lockdown for a short time.
A Sydney father has been killed at a tourist hotspot in Thailand. During a road rage incident in Phuket, a single blow to the neck led to the death of the 57-year-old.
A confrontation lasting just seconds, but with dire consequences. Alan Jolliffe arguing with another man on a street in Phuket, an unknown woman trying to push them apart before a single hit is thrown. The split-second action enough to knock the Aussie father to the ground. He was taken to hospital but couldn't be saved. This happened on Wednesday afternoon in the Patong province, an area bustling with tourists. The incident breaking on local news as police arrested a 29-year-old Swedish national.
เป็นชายชาวสวีเดนกับชายชาวออสเตรเลีย
It's believed an argument over someone beeping their scooter horn led to the deadly confrontation. The 57-year-old victim is originally from Liverpool in the UK, but he's been living in Sydney and running a painting business on the northern beaches. The Australian government is now providing assistance to his family. Helene Lambetsos, 9 News.
8 men charged over a commercial-sized cannabis farm near Bundaberg have learned their fate in court. Live to Josephine Shannon. Josie, what was the outcome?
Well, Joel, back in 2024, that is when police first swooped and found this Moore Park Beach home filled with cannabis plants, a farm rather, and they found 15,719 cannabis plants worth an estimated $78.5 million. And this was being run by a Vietnamese organised crime group. On December 17, 2024, that is when all 8 of those men were charged. They pleaded guilty today to 1 count of producing a dangerous drug in excess of 500 grams and 1 count of possessing money reasonably suspected of being proceeds of a drug offence. Each of them was sentenced to between 2 and 3 years. However, Judge Gardner ruled they be released today due to time already spent in prison. And Melissa, the judge also says that he took into account the sheer size and sophistication of the project as well as any profit that would have been made as well.
Josie, thank you. More than $3 million worth of drugs have been seized as part of a 9-month-long takedown of an alleged crime syndicate in the Gladstone region. Police seized more than 7.5 kilograms of methamphetamine, multiple cars and $1 million in cash, trafficking following raids at multiple homes.
Police, search for it, get to the ground!
25 people have been charged, including 11 with drug trafficking.
The Federal Treasurer has all but confirmed the government will clamp down on tax breaks that benefit investors in housing. It comes as former Liberal leader Susan Lee today triggered the countdown for a by-election in her regional seat by officially resigning from Parliament.
Susan Lee's exit from the Liberal leadership a fortnight ago was striking for its generosity.
It is important that the new leader gets clear air.
Her final exit from politics coming today, with a gentle dig at those who brought her down, issuing a statement on her immediate resignation. It will be for commentators to measure my leadership, she said, saying she was proud of her approach on tax, energy and national security, noting the coalition's re-adoption of many of these directions and policies in recent days and weeks.
I think Susan was leaving a fair bit of the commentators in her comments too.
Susan Lee's New South Wales regional seat of Farrer now at serious risk of falling to an independent.
People are really disenfranchised and they're angry. They are, and they're looking for alternatives.
The Farrer by-election will be a health check on the Liberal Party and a reality check on One Nation's grand ambitions. The Labor Party may not bother with a candidate, but its tax policies will be part of the contest.
We know that there is a sense of intergenerational unfairness in the tax system and in the housing market as well.
The Treasurer all but confirming the government plans to curb negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount, which both make housing attractive for investors. Combined, negative gearing and the CGT discount will cost taxpayers $13.6 billion this year, with $7.5 billion, or 55% of the tax breaks, going to the richest 10% of households.
If you want more of something, you don't put a tax on it.
But some Liberals support tax breaks being contained, including former Treasurer Joe Hockey.
Negative gearing should be skewed towards new housing.
So you shift investor capital to new stock. Well, that's actually a supply-boosting change.
Andrew Provan, 9 News.
There are reports tonight the alleged Bondi Beach terrorists tried to travel to Afghanistan. According to the Daily Telegraph, the father and son were turned away before they could get there, with the pair making it as far as Kyrgyzstan. A royal commission into the attack was launched this week. The parliamentary committee tasked with scrutinising the government's new legislation aimed at combating anti-Semitism has delivered its final report. After 2 public hearings across 2 weeks, the committee has made one recommendation: that the bill be passed. The new laws would see slogans and symbols banned and tougher penalties for attacks on places of worship. They'll be debated in Parliament next week.
The US and Iran have made significant progress during talks on Tehran's nuclear program, according to mediators. But there's still no deal locked in as the US continues to move more of its military into the Middle East.
US military muscle moved from the UK to the Middle East. F-22 stealth fighter jets now in southern Israel as negotiators from the United States and Iran met in Geneva attempting to reach a nuclear deal. The high-stakes, indirect discussions reportedly lasted 6 hours. The talks breaking down in the middle of the day, Iran's foreign minister saying, "We have started serious discussions about elements of a deal on nuclear issues and the removal of sanctions." But despite reports of progress, the US military build-up across the Middle East grows. Its largest aircraft carrier, Gerald Ford, now in Israeli waters. The United States yet to comment on the latest negotiations. Iran's foreign minister adding, "On some issues we are close to an understanding. On others, we still have a difference of opinion." The lead negotiator from Oman stating, "We will resume soon after consultation in the respective capitals. Discussions on a technical level will take place next week in Vienna."
If the president really wants to go to war, put troops in the field, he needs to come to Congress for authority.
And the world will be watching. In London, Mimi Becker, 9 News.
Revelations tonight. The police are preparing for 5 so-called ISIS brides and 7 of their children to arrive in New South Wales from camps in Syria. But officers can't say where they'll settle.
It is proposed that we have those conversations prior to them proceeding through immigration. When they pass through immigration, they can go wherever they like. They're unregulated.
And if they decline to participate in those conversations?
That will be their right.
Officers have confirmed they are still in contact with a cohort that returned 5 years ago. The NRL's 3rd visit to Las Vegas is already being hailed as the best yet, before a match has even kicked off. Live to Adam Jackson in Vegas. Adam, the Americans have rolled out the red carpet for rugby league.
They certainly have, Melissa. Some amazing scenes here earlier today for what's dubbed the Fremont Street Experience. This is the moment they really press the go button on the countdown to all this Las Vegas NRL action. You can see the vision on your screens there. Hundreds of metres of red carpet rolled out, a capacity crowd, a biggest since the inception of this Vegas experiment in America 3 years ago. The Cowboys, the Knights, the Dragons, and the Bulldogs, the participants this year, all introduced to the crowd. There was even an impromptu dance competition between the teams. The happiest person in the crowd, ARLC chairman Peter V'landys, has copped a bit of criticism about this Vegas experiment, but has certainly turned into a success. I spoke to him during the event, and he also reiterated how beneficial it is this year having a Queensland team involved to boost the crowd numbers.
This is massive. It goes for kilometres. The amount of people here is extraordinary. I've never, in my wildest dreams, never thought it'd be this big.
And it helps having a Queensland team here too.
Oh, absolutely. Having the Queenslanders here, and I was surprised at how many North Queensland supporters have been here.
And coming up later this evening in our 9 News Sport break, we'll have some exclusive details on the NRL teams in line to play here in Vegas next year, Joel. And based on the scenes we've seen today, why wouldn't you make the trip over here?
It looks like fun. Thank you, AJ. Under oath. Next, former presidential candidate and First Lady Hillary Clinton testifies in the Epstein investigation.
Incredible escape after a car crashes through a brick wall, stopping centimetres from a family home.
Claims a big-name insurer shortchanged thousands of customers.
And at the end of sport, the latest battle in the supermarket wars. Who sells the best hot chook?
A frightening close call for a Gold Coast family after a 4-wheel drive ploughed through a brick wall, stopping centimetres from their home. Inside the car, a woman and 3 young girls aged 4, 10 and 13. They were taken to hospital with broken bones and neck injuries. Police are investigating whether alcohol or speed were factors.
Hillary Clinton says she wants to see the truth come out after being grilled for more than 6 hours about links to Jeffrey Epstein. The former US Secretary of State insists she never met the convicted pedophile, claiming she's the victim of a political witch hunt.
In Bill and Hillary Clinton's hometown in New York State, the stage set for a showdown inside this local performing arts centre. The former US First Lady and Secretary of State, first to be quizzed on her ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices.
Ghislaine Maxwell, a guest at the couple's daughter's wedding in 2010.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
The Clintons aren't accused of wrongdoing, but the former president spent time with Jeffrey Epstein, flying on the pedophile's plane at least 16 times.
The connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light.
The closed-door testimony is being filmed and the footage will be released. The Clintons want it broadcast in real time, but that's against the committee's rules.
What was important for her is that her answers to the questions not be edited.
The deposition briefly paused after one Republican representative leaked photos from inside. The testimony, part of a House Oversight Committee investigation, but millions of Epstein files still haven't been made public.
Let's get President Trump in front of our committee
The Clintons initially refusing to testify, slamming the Republican-led investigation as a distraction and political theatre, but ultimately agreed after being threatened with being held in contempt of Congress, a criminal charge. Bill Clinton's deposition in the coming hours will be the first time a sitting or former president has appeared before a congressional committee in half a century. In Washington, D.C., Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
ASIC is taking insurance company Budget Direct to court, alleging thousands of customers were denied advertised discounts of up to 30% after making simple changes to their policies, such as updating home addresses.
This was advertising seen by millions of Australians, and ASIC alleges it was misleading because Budget Direct didn't tell customers that these discounts could be removed.
Budget Direct says the errors were inadvertent and has refunded $3.8 million, but ASIC is still pushing for fines to be issued.
Modern hip replacements going the distance. Tonight, the bionic boost giving Queenslanders a new lease on life, and why today's implants are lasting decades longer than expected. That story is a little later in the bulletin.
Phone plan scam. Next, a GP's warning to others after hackers drained a family bank account.
A major health update from one of Australia's favourite comedians.
The major network backing down from the Warner Brothers bidding war.
Plus, works get underway on a new $19 million southeast beachside pavilion. Some good news tonight from Australian comedian Magda Szubanski, sharing to social media that she's in remission from cancer.
I've completed chemo and I am now in remission. So, phew, big relief. It's not a cure, but because I got a good remission, that hopefully means that I'll have, keep the cancer at bay for a good long time.
Szubanski was diagnosed with stage 4 mantle cell lymphoma early last year.
A Melbourne GP has issued a warning to Aldi mobile phone users after hackers stole $30,000 from her son's bank account. Marianne Lancaster claims the lack of cybersecurity is leaving customers vulnerable.
As a doctor, Marianne Lancaster helps people. 5 days after her family phone plan was hacked, she's still waiting for someone to help her.
They ended up stealing just in excess of $30,000.
The money belonged to Marianne's son Campbell, a deposit he'd been saving to buy his first home. Hackers pillaged his bank account after gaining control of Marianne's Aldi mobile phone number and changing it.
By getting into the account with my primary number, they had then ported Campbell's phone number to their own. So the authentication codes were going through to them, not to me and not to Campbell.
Using software they've put onto the family's computer, obtained a whole raft of personal information, access to their bank account, access to the customer portal of their phone provider.
When Marianne contacted Aldi, she says she was told the stolen phone number couldn't be locked. 3 days later, the hackers tried to steal $50,000 from her daughter's account. That attempt was thwarted by the bank. In a statement, Aldi says it takes security incredibly seriously and suspends mobile services when it becomes aware of unauthorised transactions, adding customers should remain vigilant. The bank's told the family it can only reinstate the $30,000 if it gets a written letter from Aldi detailing the fraud. While tech experts say the onus is on all parties, it does raise serious concerns about the safety of the supermarket telco.
Aldi's the gateway. The phone company is the gateway. And if you can access their system, then you can potentially, by way of Aldi's systems and processes, move a phone number from one owner to another.
Justine Conway, 9 News.
Netflix says it won't raise its offer to buy Hollywood studio Warner Brothers Discovery, paving the way for Paramount Skydance to take over. A bidding war between the two companies has been ongoing for months, with Paramount upping its offer just a few days ago. Crowds of mourners in Chicago are paying tribute to civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, with memorial events taking place across the US. His family hugging those who had come to farewell the two-time presidential candidate. Jackson died last week, aged 84.
A new wave of waterfront facilities is on the way for Moreton Bay, with construction kicking off on a new pavilion. The almost $20 million seaside precinct at Sutton's Beach will include new public changing rooms and a viewing deck. Bricks from the old pavilion will be repurposed for the site that's scheduled to open mid-next year. A hard-earned thirst needs a mid-strength beer. Coming up, the famous Aussie brew changing with the times.
Stamp of approval. The Ozpost boss warns of a price hike as profits tank.
The modern hip replacements that are going the distance.
And it's G'day LA as Aussie stars hit the red carpet.
Australia Post has delivered a modest profit but warns the business of sending letters is still weighing the operation down. Here's finance editor Chris Kohler.
It was a busy Friday for investors. Coles announced a bigger profit and dividend, but it was still smashed by investors, having its worst day in months. Not because it's facing price gouging accusations in court, but because the profit didn't meet expectations. Overall, the ASX finished the week near record highs, but Commonwealth Bank was in the spotlight after reporting itself to police over fears $1 billion worth of home loans could be fraudulent. Not a good look for the country's biggest bank. Meanwhile, the Australian dollar remains near 3-year highs as we head into the weekend. And finally, Australia Post today handed down a $50 million half-year profit, which is down sharply on last year. It's hoping to be approved for another stamp price hike, but the CEO says that still won't be enough.
And I don't think our mail business will ever get to a point where it's break even. We are chasing our tail literally every half.
The only good news is most people won't notice. Only 3 out of every 100 letters are sent by individuals. The rest are sent by businesses.
To fuel, the average price for unleaded petrol in Brisbane is $1.99. Diesel is $1.84. The average for unleaded on the Gold Coast is $1.93. RACQ says it's the expensive phase of the cycle. Hold off filling up if possible.
It's a sign of the times. VB has responded to changing habits around a hard-earned thirst, launching a new mid-strength beer. Around 1/3 of Australian beer sales are now no alcohol, low alcohol or mid-strength.
Echoing throughout lounge rooms for decades,
a hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer.
You know the rest, and the best cold beer is...
But when you got to get up, because there's more work to do. Well, VB's got a mid-strength now too.
Carlton and United Breweries rolling out a softer edge to this Aussie icon.
Similar, same big bold flavour, but only one set of drink per can.
It's 3.5% alcohol and comes 19 years after VB launched its first mid-strength beer.
That was quite different. That was a watery and weak liquid. It was in a yellow can and it was only 3% in alcohol.
The brewer wants success in an evolving market, with the top 2 best sellers in the country now mid-strength beers. But getting the balance right can be thirsty work.
It's definitely a challenge. I mean, VB isn't ours, VB is Australia's. It's an iconic brand up there with Qantas, Bunnings, Vegemite.
If lighter is what you're after, you can save money too. A slab of these is about $5 cheaper than the competitors, and looks can be deceiving. Let's say you're having a beer with a mate on a Friday afternoon and perhaps don't want to say you're having a mid-strength beer. Turns out they'll never know because, matter of fact, I got one now. Cheers.
And look basically identical.
As for whether it passes the pub test,
you can taste the difference.
You can taste the difference, but it's good. It's good. It's better than I thought.
Are you surprised?
I am actually. It tastes just like VB, but it is a little bit lighter.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'll give it a 9.
Ollie Haig, 9 News.
I'll have to test that one out. Yeah. Australian stars, athletes and politicians have descended on Los Angeles for the annual G'day USA Gala. Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate among them, touting his plans for a Trump Tower, which would be the first of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere.
Eric and Lara's going to come out in July, I reckon. And if they do that, we're going to start sod turning and get the project going.
So it's smack bang in the middle of surfers?
Absolutely, right next to the Surf Paradise Surf Lifesaving Club.
If the project goes ahead, it would be the tallest residential building in Australia. Olympian Ian Thorpe and actors Yvonne Strahovski and Millie Alcock will also receive Global Impact Awards as part of the event.
In sport, another Queensland club anoints co-captains for the 2026 season. The Knights' early win over the Cowboys as competitive juices begin flowing ahead of the NRL's Vegas season opener.
At the end of sport, the results are in. Australia's best rotisserie chicken revealed.
And still seeing some showers this evening for parts of the Sunshine Coast. They are starting to ease though for the city and down here on the Gold Coast, but I'll let you know if we're going to see any more rain this weekend. The full forecast coming up soon.
The bright lights of Vegas won't distract the teams competing in the third instalment of the NRL's American venture, instead vowing to use the party atmosphere as motivation to put on a show of their own. The Knights already scoring an early win over the Cowboys ahead of the US showdown.
Third time lucky to find any spare space at the NRL's Fremont Street Experience. Now a bucket list item for all footy fans, taking over downtown Las Vegas tonight.
It's crazy. It's like no game I've ever experienced. I can't believe how successful it is. I mean, I've never seen so many people.
The Cowboys got the party started as the first NRL club weaving their way through the red carpet, and it wouldn't be Vegas without a show. An impromptu dance-off between the teams had the competitive juices flowing before this weekend's season opener.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm very grateful I came here and got to witness it.
Bulldogs forward Max King had some Michael Jackson-inspired moves. Knights winger Greg Matthew, though, the undisputed champion of the NRL dance floor.
Oh, I actually come here twice when I was younger for hip-hop, so it's funny. Full circle moment, man.
Being surrounded by all this glitz and glamour here in Las Vegas could be seen as a major distraction ahead of their first game of the season. But instead, the players here are harnessing all this added energy to put on one hell of a show here on Saturday night.
All the hard work's done now, and to put this Cowboys jersey on Saturday night, and it's all up to us now.
Ozfest, another popular edition showcasing all things Australian to the US market, not just rugby league.
Unbelievable, a bit different to a round one build-up.
Queensland origin forward Jaden Su'A is a hit in Vegas, plastered on giant billboards to promote the game's toughness. Brisbane boy Dan Atkinson also on the big stage, spurred on by support back home.
Local club Albany Creek Crushers, hopefully the Edenstill Tavern's going off.
Technically now just 2 more sleeps to go until game time, but in a city where it's difficult to differentiate between day and night, the party might just keep going all the way to kick-off. In Las Vegas, Adam Jackson, 9 News.
And there's set to be some late team changes for the season opener in America. For more, here's league reporters Adam Jackson and Ben Dobbin in Vegas.
Well, there has been a bit of conjecture over whether the Cowboys will play Matt Lodge. Jobber, he was named on an extended bench earlier this week. A lot of people think he won't play, but you believe that's not the case.
Yeah, I spoke to Todd Payton and he will wear the 21 jersey. The reason that jersey is that's the biggest jersey they had at the club, and that's the only one that fits Matt Lodge. He'll be playing. They didn't go through all the drama around his visa to have him over here to not play. He will play on Saturday evening here in the first game against the Newcastle Knights, which is good news, adds a little bit of strength and a lot of experience in the middle for the Cowboys.
And one question a lot of people want answered, who will play here in Vegas next year? So 5 teams haven't lined up so far. The Melbourne Storm, the Parramatta Eels, West Tigers, Gold Coast Titans and Dolphins. Who are the front runners?
Well, I don't think they have 2 Queensland sides here. My understanding is that the Dolphins are at the top of that list. A big supporter base. Queensland would love another team out of Brisbane to come to Las Vegas. The NRL will not announce at this Vegas event who the teams are next year. One team certainly will miss out, but it won't be the Dolphins.
And hopefully we do get a Queensland victory here this weekend when the Cowboys take on the Knights.
Thank you, AJ. Meantime, a bold leadership shake-up for the Dolphins, with star halfback Isaiah Katoa officially elevated to co-captain alongside Tom Gilbert. The Finns' existing skipper adamant the 22-year-old won't struggle handling the added responsibility.
He'll deal with this pressure, in an amazing manner like he has with the early start to his career. But, I'm here to support him, and I know he's going to support me really well too.
Gilbert all set to complete his injury comeback in the Dolphins' blockbuster season opener at Suncorp Stadium next Sunday against Wayne Bennett's Bunnies. The Reds are in action at Suncorp tonight, hosting the Highlanders in their first home match of the year. Carter Gordon making his debut for Queensland, who are out to avenge a disappointing defeat against the Tars in round one. Of course, you can catch every match of the Super Rugby season live and exclusive on Stan Sport. Selection headaches await the Lions ahead of their AFL Premiership defence following an impressive final trial win against Queensland rivals the Suns at Springfield. Lincoln McCarthy firming to face the Bulldogs in opening round at the Gabba. The luckless forward turned defender set for a hybrid role, returning from back-to-back knee reconstructions.
And he's trained a fair bit as a half-back, but then we know how much he adds value in terms of his leadership and what he does as a forward. We'll use him, no doubt, in both throughout the year.
Hugh McCluggage has been cleared of any injury fears after Brisbane's new co-captain left the match early due to a corked calf. The Matildas insist there is no pressure on superstar striker Mary Fowler during the Asian Cup, with her teammates impressed she's able to play at all in her first major tournament back from ACL surgery.
Whenever she's on the pitch, something exciting is always happening, so I'm excited for her. I think she's got no pressure on her. I think she just needs to enjoy her football, enjoy the moment, and just be proud that she's been able to get back and push herself to how she is today.
First choice goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold didn't finish today's training session, remaining in doubt for Sunday's clash against the Philippines. Queensland is on the cusp of collecting another national sporting championship following a lively start to the WNBL Grand Final Series. The lead changed 27 times before the Townsville Fire prevailed with an 88-79 victory over the Perth Lynx. Townsville can now seal the championship by winning Game 2 in Perth on Sunday. But how about that backflip from Greg Marzio? I reckon if he does that on the field, the Americans will go crazy over there for
NRL. If his coach held his breath just to make sure he didn't injure himself. That would be a story. Thank you, Bronte. Well, it's a hotly contested honour and the results are in. IGA taking out the award for the best rotisserie chicken, bringing Costco's 5-year winning streak to an end. Nearly a quarter of people surveyed by CanStar say they include a roast chicken in their regular grocery shop, while a cheeky 4% revealed they've passed off a supermarket chook as a home-cooked meal.
In just 3 minutes, it's the bionic boost getting Queenslanders back on their feet. After the break, why modern hip replacements are finally going the distance and keeping patients moving for longer.
But first, here's Luke Bradnam with a quick check on the weather. Luke, will we see these strong winds hang around tomorrow for our final day of summer?
Where has the year gone, Joel? Yes, unfortunately, those winds up again for Saturday. We will see them ease on Sunday, though, slightly. Showers hanging around for the next week. I'll have all the details of Full Weather app coming up next.
Hip replacements have been a game changer for the mobility of Australians since the procedures started here in the late 1960s. Now, researchers found the relief that comes with an implant these days can last an incredible 30 years.
At 70, Helena has just received her second hip replacement. The other hip was done 18 years ago.
He did a good job for 18 years. I didn't feel pain. It went smoothly.
The number of hip replacements is rising in Australia. More than 60,000 surgeries performed last year.
There's a misconception in the community amongst doctors and amongst patients that hips only last 15 years. Now, that used to be true. In the 1990s, hips did last 15 years and then they wore out. But the materials have changed significantly.
Data from joint replacement registries in 8 countries, including Australia, was used in the global review published in the Lancet Medical Journal. Advanced modelling shows most modern implants are lasting at least 3 decades.
93% of hips will still be functioning well at 25 years and 92% are still functioning at 30 years.
My doctor said that I can live with it the whole my life.
Newer generation ceramics and far better plastic liner technology, the workhorse of the implant, has resulted in far less wear.
It's a ball and socket joint, it's the plastic liner, and I tell people it's a bit like wearing out the tyres in your motor car. The rubber does not wear out anymore.
The average age of someone receiving a hip replacement in Australia is 68. The latest review also reassuring for younger patients who need surgery as a last resort.
These include patients less than 30. We'd certainly like people to get to retirement age if they can, but if they're disabled, it's no longer a concern like it used to be.
Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
Time now for your full weather forecast. Luke, hard to believe the first week of autumn is upon us and it's shaping as a wet one.
It certainly is, Joel, although the good news is no heavy rain for us in the southeast, but there is a chance of showers most days for the week ahead. I'll show you the outlook in a tick. They're all being whipped up by these strong southeasterly winds. If you look at today's radar, down here on the Gold Coast, we have winds as strong as 60 kilometres an hour earlier today. The heaviest of the rain, though, has been up around the Sunshine Coast, and that remains the way this evening as well. Seeing falls of around 20 millimetres, parts of the Sunshine Coast today. Nambour in the last 24 hours receiving over 100 millimetres. Today's temperatures across the southeast, up in the high 20s it was along the coast, touching around 30 degrees today for the city and in the low 30s for the west. And tomorrow's weather map tells the story for our state. We'll see those unstable conditions continue for the northwest, stretching down to the southwest of our state. Onshore winds pushing showers in along large parts of the Queensland coastline tomorrow. And if you're off interstate this weekend, a shower or two on the way for Sydney and Melbourne. Cloudy for Canberra, partly cloudy for Hobart, a possible storm on the way for Adelaide, fine in the west for Perth, and for you in Darwin, showers, a possible storm and temps around 30 degrees. Back into Queensland, just a light shower or two for Cairns that will see some heavier falls possible for Townsville and Mackay. A light shower or two along the Capricornia coast and pretty similar along the Fraser coast as well. Showers in the west though for the Isa and Longreach, and a cloudy day on the way for Roma. Here in the southeast, pretty similar to what we have seen today. A shower or two for most areas, particularly along the coastal fringe. Temps reaching around 30 degrees for most of us, and strong southeasterly winds again. Southeasterly winds out on the bay, 15 to 25 knots, and seas getting up to 1.5 metres. And for the city, a top of 29 degrees for our final day of summer. Overnight dropping down to a pretty comfortable 21. Just a shower or two on the cards tomorrow. And then as we look ahead, up to 5 millimetres possible for our Sunday, for the first day of autumn. A shower or two, 29 for Monday. Shower or two, 28 degrees for Tuesday next week. For Ipswich, partly cloudy tomorrow, a top of 31 degrees. A shower or two and 30 for Sunday and Monday next week, and partly cloudy for Tuesday. Here on the Gold Coast, a shower or two on the way tomorrow. Could see up to 8 millimetres in the gauge for our Sunday, and a shower or two and 28 degrees from Monday right the way through till Thursday next week. For you on the sunny coast, up to 5 millimetres tomorrow, 10 millimetres for Sunday, and lighter showers possible from Monday through until Friday next week. Let's have a look at the beaches. Well, very ordinary conditions on the open beaches today. Those southeasterly winds up over 60 kilometres an hour, but have a look down on the protected corners, turning it on. The swell slightly smaller than what we saw yesterday, but the good news is for experienced board riders, all weekend long we'll have decent waves up the Sunshine Coast and certainly down here on the Superbank on the Gold Coast. A big sweep at the moment to the north, so if you're heading down for a family day, make sure you stay between the flags. Offshore for the boaties this weekend, not a lot of fun. It's the final day we can get amongst the Spanish mackerel. Great stuff. Yeah, that Spanish mackerel closure goes in place for 3 weeks from Sunday, guys. So make the most of tomorrow. Stay safe out there, have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Sounds good, Luke. Thank you. And that is 9 News Queensland for this evening. Ali Langdon is next with a current affair, and I'll have updates for you later in the evening.
Thank you for your company from all of us. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Good night.